Hey guys, welcome back to the academic powerhouse with your mathematical meathead himself, the realest guy in the room. Bada bing, bada boom, how you doing? Let's talk about statistics. Let's whet our appetites a little bit about statistics. Oh, guys, this is one of the most interesting areas of mathematics. And I know it's hard for you to believe at this moment in time, but rest assured, hopefully I can illustrate for you why that is the case. Now let's roll back through history a little bit. The history of human civilization and humans in general. See, since the dawn of time, humans have enjoyed this idea of circling around a campfire and telling stories. Stories about all sorts of things, from the way things used to be to the way things are. In fact, that's how much of human history came about, is through storytelling. That's how we have history books. That's how we have records of things from so long ago, is through that very act, right? People love telling stories. As we moved on into the Renaissance era, we were able to finally tell stories through books, primarily paper, right? Books, some plays, even, right? Shakespeare, plays, whatever. But books and scrolls and records were a thing in this time now. Yeah, and let's see now, 20th century. Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. We have an explosion of storytelling ability when we move on into the 20th century, which are basically the 1900s. Okay, guys. TVs came about during that time. Radio came about during that time. Newspapers, while not brand new, were very prevalent during that time as well. And they, in all those different forms, told stories of the day, stories that persist through time, just as the earlier versions of storytelling still persist through time to this day. So, today, speaking of which, now we have much more ways of telling stories. We have so many ways of connecting with people, so many different stories to tell. We got our TikToks and our PlayStations and our Instagrams and our Facebooks and Twitters and YouTubes, Twitches, Disney Plus, Netflix, and so many more. I can't possibly list them all. Guys, we as a species, we as humans, we love to tell stories. We love to tell stories, okay? Now, the thing about storytelling, the one sort of story that has persisted through all those times, right? Uh, The stories have become more broad. The storytelling methods have become much more broad and diverse. But there's one story that has persisted all throughout time, from the dawn of time to today, and that is the story of statistics. The story of statistics is one of truth. You are able to derive truth from understanding statistics and how it works. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Actually, you can see here. Look, the statistics weren't as prevalent way back then, but through recent times, there has been an explosion of our use of statistics, our reliance on statistics, our uncovering and development of statistics, and they are persistent throughout all sorts of different areas of life, right? Through government, through let's see, marketing, business meetings, financial meetings, even in the military, they use statistics, and in the factories, they use statistics to build products, and even in hospitals, they use statistics. Guys, statistics is everywhere because statistics tells the story of truth, and truth is everywhere. Truth is the most valuable story one can tell in our whole existence as humans. That is the one story that has held the most value throughout time. Okay, statistics. Now, statistics as a whole, it is I'll call it a branch of mathematics, right? It is, as I said earlier, the most interesting area of mathematics to me for so many reasons. But basically, if you recognize that humans love telling stories, and you yourself, as a human, love telling stories, then statistics is perhaps something to look into further. We will only be doing introductory level statistics, but understand statistics helps tell a story through our abilities to collect, analyze, interpret, and then present data. Data. That's an interesting word, folks. Data. What is actually? Let's talk about who's buying these stories. Who is buying these stories? How valuable are these stories? We'll talk about data in a second, but just to give you a sense of how valuable the story of truth is and how valuable statistics are. Listen, you guys are young. You guys are young. You're probably not thinking about what you're going to be doing when you become adults, but understand you don't, it's not that much further away, guys. 6, maybe a few years less than that, right? That's not a lot of time. But look, here's just here's the story of the truth. Here's my story of how valuable statistics is in the real world. And trust me, I can't even begin to cover everything. But look, all these different careers: financial analyst, cost estimator, business analyst, and so forth. These people are making much so much money out there. Listen, 70, 80, 90, 120, 140, thousands and thousands of dollars. Listen, the average person in America today makes between what, 35 and 50 ish, around there, $1,000 a year. Guys, look at these. There is not a single number here that is less than that. You want to be rich, you want to be making money, you want to be making an impact on this world, jump into one of these careers. And these careers are all about, they use statistics every single day in, day out. Okay. And as I said, every aspect of our society uses and needs statistics. Like I said, government, military, healthcare, manufacturing, business, finance, all sorts of stuff, guys. This is only the tip of the iceberg as far as your understanding of how statistics impacts our world. Right? Even the things you bring up on TikTok and all these social media platforms, algorithms are created to present you information that they think you'll like. They think you'll like it because the statistics tells them you'll like it. And in fact, you do. You click on the videos, you watch the videos, you do all sorts of crazy things, right? Statistics, even though you don't see it, when you click on that video on YouTube, when you click on that TikTok, the algorithm is being fed by the statistical usage of people just like you and your specific usage. So, what is data? Statistics is all about data, as I said earlier. It is about collecting, analyzing, interpreting, and presenting on data. Okay, so what is data? What is data? Listen, data can be anything, really. There's anything. The only thing you have to be able to do to have data is have an ability to quantify something. So, for example, shoe sizes, height, grades, things that are pretty fairly tangible to you right now in your lives. But numbers alone, just a bunch of numbers on a big page, and is not sufficient for data to be data. Data, the other part of data is being able to assign some sort of a meaning to data, right? So shoe sizes, that's cool, but it's impactful, it's powerful when you're able to say shoe sizes of sixth graders. Okay, now we can do something there. Height of all students at the school. Okay, now we can take measurements and tell the story of all the students' height at the school, and even the grades of sixth grade math students. We can collect the data of all their grades and then tell an appropriate story as to how the sixth grade math students are doing. Guys, let me just tell you real quick. Now, before I became a mathematical meathead, all right, I lived in the world, the cutthroat world of business. And let me tell you something, there is one thing that has stuck with me every single day that I have worked in business to this day. And a very good friend of mine high level VP, had some power to him. Okay, big multi-billion-dollar company. He told me this, and it has stuck with me ever since. Do not be the it's do not be the person who simply reports the weather. Be the person who can predict what the weather will be tomorrow. You see, statistics will give you the ability to predict what will happen tomorrow and in the future. That is why all of these career fields are paid what they are paid, because these guys can predict. They can use math and use numbers and use statistics to predict what things will be in the future. That's where the real value comes in. Let's see. Okay, and this is just salaries, guys. There's so much more value beyond the salaries of people who are good at statistics. For example, let's talk about quarterly profits, right? Businesses are all about quarterly profits. Hey, where's my quarterly profits going to be, financial analyst? Well, I think it's going to be such and such and such. Okay, that's cool. I'm the boss. I'm going to take that to all the investors and all the people in the stock market. I'm going to say, hey, we're targeting this. And then come a few months later, when the quarter closes and we beat expectations, right? People are happy about that. If they didn't know what the expectation was, they wouldn't have any way to be happy or even sad if it underperformed, right? And so, and and what they predict today and how that ends up being in the future, again, that's where the value comes. That's where the value comes. Setting the expectation of where things can be in the future gives people reasonable assurance, allows them to be able to take different risks or not take different risks. Okay, so again, I just wanted to share that little tidbit of knowledge, something that's stuck with me since forever, and that is part of the beauty of statistics. Part of the beauty of statistics. Now, anyways, let's continue. Oh, speaking of beauty of statistics, okay, is you can really see it in the ability to represent data in all sorts of different ways. All sorts of different ways. Listen, if you're, as I said, it's not a lot of fun being able to simply just take out a big giant sheet of paper, a big notebook full of paper and numbers and blah, blah, blah. Who's going to read all of that? Who has time for all of that? Not a lot of people do. Not a lot of people want to. It's boring and it's just, ugh. I'd rather do stuff. I'd rather play my PlayStation. Okay, okay. But see, the beauty is that I can represent all those pages and pages of notebooks of stuff into nice visual representations, nice graphs here, which we're going to dive into much more as the weeks go on here. Okay, but just to give you a sense, I can represent data that I've collected, that I've analyzed in the form of a histogram. A histogram is going to give me a nice little snapshot of where things are. I can kind of see already red, whatever I define red to be. Red is the most. Red looks about the average. Again, I'll talk about what average means later on. But just understand, I can make interpretations, quick interpretations, visually, without much thought. Same idea with dot plots. Okay, it's 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 visual for sure. It's like stacking. It's stacking a bunch of dots on top of one another. It's like stacking a bunch of dominoes on top of one another. Stacking whatever it is you can think of to stack. Quarters, whatever. Quarters. Just stacking things up based on where they fall, where the data tells you that they fall. Right. If you have, let's see. Again, you will define these later. We'll talk more about dot plots. Stem and leaf plots are kind of like dot plots, except for you just turn the whole graph on its side, and instead of dots, you actually put the actual number, right? So for example, how you interpret this stem and leaf plot is, one. So let's say all the like one would be the numbers that are between 10 and 19. Two would be between 20 and 29, in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s and so forth. And you can see You can interpret, for example, here, right, that there are 2 data points of number 11. You can see 2 data points of 18, 1 of 19. Here, 2 data points of 20. Here, 50s. The 50s are where the most data points are concentrated, right? It has more numbers on this side than in any other category. Easy to see, easy to interpret. I didn't have to think. I didn't have to go through a bunch of notebooks to figure that out and pages, and it's all right here, guys. Here's another couple ways we'll get into box and whisker plots. Box and whisker plots. You can tell a lot from a box and whisker plot. It doesn't look super complicated, but it is fairly valuable. In fact, it's one of the most valuable of all these ones that I have here. But you can tell things like the average, things like the variability, things like the median, things like all these terms I'm saying now. We're gonna talk more about them. But understand, it's a very quick and easy way for me to tell someone what's happening with our set of data. Good, bad, indifferent, it doesn't matter. Bell curve, same thing. In fact, a box and whisker is a bell curve, or a curve, I should say. Um, we'll get more into that later. But man, it tells you so much. Scatter plots. You get just plotting a bunch of data points, just dots all on a graph. Dots all on a graph. You can make interpretations from that. Are things trending upwards? Are they trending downwards? Is there no correlation whatsoever? These are important questions to address when you want to predict data, when you want to describe data, tell the story of data, and frequency tables. You use frequency tables to build out your graphs and your other visualizations, but sometimes you have so few that it's not really worth graphing. A summary table, for example, were just a couple little things, but frequency tables are going to be a big part of this, of our journey here on introductory statistics. Again, you don't have to be an expert on all this stuff. You don't, but understand that there is a world of mathematics known as statistics. Understand it has persisted throughout time. Understand it tells a story, and understand that that story that it tells is one of truth, and truth is highly valuable. Now, I'll save, we'll get more into this on the next few videos, but I just wanted you to have an appreciation for the subject matter at this point in time. So, with that said, I hope you got yourselves a nice little pump on. I hope you got your mental muscles burning right now, guys, because we are about to fire them up even more so in the next few videos. So thanks for watching. Take care, and I will see you soon.